Let me start by giving you some insights why we did what we do, and I will present later. So already in 1994, when I joined the ministry, we did life cycle assessment at the ministry. We had this life cycle assessment for drink packaging, which was very much debated in Germany at that time, and even our former environment minister, Ms. Merkel, debated about 2 hours with the president of our main industry associations on life cycle assessment and all the bits and pieces of recycling rates and things like that. So we have a big tradition in taking all the impact categories into account. And when Thema 1 approached us, I don't know, 4 years ago, I think, asking us, how do you think what PCF could do? Could we do something together in that regard? We were very hesitant, or I was very hesitant. And bring the big ones, I said, if I remember correctly, bring the big companies, and finally they did. So, meanwhile, we support the work on the platform for product carbon footprint. But still, looking at the debate yesterday, we think that looking at the whole picture, not only on the climate criteria, is a right one. But we discovered that the interest in product carbon footprint is much broader than the interest in doing life cycle assessment at that time, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. So we started a sort of dialogue in Germany with all the stakeholders. We invited all the stakeholders, please tell us, how do you think we should deal with product carbon footprint? What should we do on methodology? What should we do on communication? And we started a dialogue process, and many people came. We had full house nearly all the time. We did a discussion. And finally, we came to, I would say, more or less consensus or a common understanding on methodology and on consumer information. We did a memorandum of product carbon footprint. We did a guidebook for companies on PCF, just to provide the companies with a methodology which they can be sure that they are not accused taking the wrong methodology, to give them something at hand which makes them be on the safe side. That was our approach, and we wanted to give some incentives for companies to do life cycle, to do carbon footprint analysis in their product chains. I think it's the same background as you have in France, or also on the Commission you heard yesterday. We also found in this dialogue process a common ground for consumer information. And we found a common ground that we don't want to add new label system, new labels to the market. In Germany, I think we have more than 1,000 labels relating to sustainability, social aspects, or environmental aspects. This is far too much, and the consumer doesn't understand that. Also, we asked ourselves, does the consumer understand a single number on a product? What does it mean to the consumer if there's 120 grams for a package of chips? Does he really understand that? We thought, and we discussed that, and nearly all of the stakeholders and us as well, we thought, no, he doesn't understand that. And there will not that many products on the market in the future which have a reliable number. Looking at the methodology, there are possibilities to, I would say, to elaborate on the number. And we thought, if there's a label the consumer can trust, that helps him much more than having such a single number. So we decided to use our old Blue Angel scheme, the oldest eco-labeling scheme in the world, for product carbon footprint. And we did a cluster approach. We not only because of that, of the climate issues, but still that was an important aspect on that. We did a cluster approach with the Blue Angel. We developed 4 clusters. One is on climate change, one is on environment and health, one is on water, and one is on resources. And by that, we were able to provide a labeling for climate change, a climate label, and more or less official climate label, which is supported by nearly all of the stakeholder groups. If you look at the structure of the Blue Angel, all the relevant stakeholder groups, from consumer associations to industry associations to churches to trade unions, they are all in the eco-labeling board. And we discussed that approach with these stakeholders in the eco-labeling board, and they agreed to have the Blue Angel as the climate change label in Germany. How do we do that? The criteria are now more focused. But we are not looking only at the climate change issues. There is a full life cycle assessment done for every product group, and the significant and relevant impacts are taken into account in the criteria setting. So you don't have a single issue approach. We are also looking at the quality and the functionality of a product, and social criteria are taken into account where it is useful and feasible. We have a big debate in Germany at the moment for sustainability criteria. Demands, why don't you do a sustainability criteria? But this is really, really difficult. And we experience that by, for example, developing the criteria in the textile sector or in the toy sector. Taking a social criteria is more or less a must, but how to do that? Being reliable, being ambitious enough, and still not facing scandals. We didn't have any scandals so far in more than 30 years with the Blue Angel, and that should stay as long as I'm responsible for that. So at the end, we have an environmental friendly product with high quality and in line with social standards. And the consumer can trust that. That's our approach. The consumer should trust the Blue Angel. The Blue Angel is known to 80% of the Germans, so it's not not something which is not known. And we had to enhance the number of products in that climate cluster. So we started a project called Top 100. We developed, or we are in the process of developing criteria for the 100 most important climate-related product group and services. More than 70 product groups are there up to now, from refrigerators to insulation material, from solar products to TV sets. So a lot of them. Still, the acceptance could be higher. It's quite a new approach, but still, not the acceptance and the use of the label it could be higher. Still, we found out, speaking to, in particular, industry, that the standards we set there in this for this Blue Angel scheme in the product categories are much more often used than the label. The label is not used for a marketing reason, for example, for a lot of products, a lot of products which are energy using. So they have different approaches in their marketing. But still, in the very recently, some of the bigger ones, not only German companies are now using the Blue Angel, not only in Germany, but for their international marketing activities. So, and we support that. We will do a project helping the companies using the Blue Angel also abroad. We are working together with, or we are cooperating with labeling schemes nearly all over the world, not only in Europe, not only with the Nordic Swan or the Austrian labeling scheme, but also with the Chinese labeling scheme, with Japanese labeling schemes. We did that, and we are now cooperating, supporting regional labeling schemes, for example, in Africa, the first all African, Pan-African eco-labeling schemes we are supporting in the implementation phase, and we are now starting a project cooperating with the ASEAN countries. So we are doing a lot, and still we are trying to harmonize the criteria in the EU and abroad, which, if the criteria are harmonized, makes it much easier for the global distributing companies to use a label. Even if the Blue Angel is not known, for example, in Thailand, but the Thai label could use the same criteria, and then the products could be developed, designed according to these criteria. So this is, of course, something which is not happening from here to now, but we are working together. We are working on it also together with UNEP and others. And of course, we use the public procurement as one push for the use of the label. In Germany, it's quite common. In other countries, it's growing, and for example, also in the ASEAN region, it's very common. In China, they are doing that. They're using their standards for the labeling scheme in their procurement activities. In Thailand, they do it, and in other countries as well. So this is something which is in our own hands as government. So how about the portfolio? You heard about agricultural products before. In the portfolio of the Blue Angel, there are the Blue Climate Angel energy-using products, energy-related services. Traditionally, there are not agricultural products there, which is, of course, a problem. You look at the PCF schemes, agricultural products are key. Consumers buy it every day, and to get a message across to the consumer, it's very important to have agricultural products there. But as the European Commission, we are working on it, but still it's a difficult task. If you look at the discussion in Brussels, you see it, and you can imagine that it's the same here. Also transport products like cars and bicycles. We are working on that. We have internal discussion with the stakeholders on that. So this portfolio, at least in our view, could be enhanced. So it could be, the Blue Angel could be more effective as a climate label than it is now. Yeah, that's my last slide. Thank you very much for your attention.